My name is Mike Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with IRS. I worked at IRS for a decade. I've been in private practice for four decades. I've been doing this for 10 years, and I'm a national expert in IRS resolution. Thank you so much for listening to my YouTube station. This is the home of the 5-minute or less video. We are national experts in IRS resolution. I have a whole team of former IRS agents, tax attorneys, and CPAs that I have really that work with me, and we can resolve any IRS, in fact, any IRS problem you have. Today I want to talk to you about IRS Tax Debt Compromise, the IRS Offer and Compromise program that many people hear on TV. Some people call it the Fresh Start program, others call it the settlement program, and there's 100 names for this. At the end of the day, if you hear tax debt settlement, if you hear the Fresh Start program, if you go on and say negotiate my tax debt, all of those words center around the main concept of offer and compromise. That is the key word, in fact, that we are looking for here, so I can explain what that is. As a former IRS agent, I taught the offer and compromise program. I used to accept offers and compromise, and I would deny them. I was good enough of a revenue officer that they brought me to the Atlanta Service Center to go ahead and teach people how to accept offers or deny offers for the IRS. So I want to talk to you today about the negotiation and how this whole process works so you understand the system. If you owe tax debt, there's 3 basic ways you're going to at least take your name off the IRS enforcement computer. The first is currently non-collectible. The second is the payment agreement program, and the third is the offer and compromise. I've looked at so many offers and compromise, and just so you know, I am an expert. If anyone's telling you other than I am, there's plenty of people out there, they don't know what they're doing, so be careful. And by the way, don't give your money to anybody on offers until maybe I'll just mention at the end. Anyway, the offer and compromise program has been around a long time, and there's a lot of false marketing, or I want to say it's not so much false, but they don't tell you the complete truth. The offer and compromise is a very, very specific program that IRS has that's very methodical, and it can't be deviated from the left or to the right. Matter of fact, IRS has what we call a PreQualifier Tool. You can go to irs.gov and ask for the PreQualifier Tool for the offer. You put some figures in there and they'll tell you whether you're qualified enough. That's kind of a base concept. It kind of gives you a close idea, but you don't want to use that to make that determination. So basically what happens is IRS is going to look at a financial statement, a 433 AOIC, and they're going to make that determination based on the fact that you have documented it with your bank statements, your pay stubs, your copy of all your expenses, and you got to know the base rule for the offer and compromise. IRS is not going to settle for any less than you have in total liquidity. If you owe $100,000 in tax and you have $100,000 in assets, IRS is not going to settle. They are not going to settle less than the full value. So you've got to be careful and make sure you do not get ripped off by any company promised you an offer and compromise. Most of the people that you're going to talk to, okay, are going to be salespeople. 90% of the people you speak to. You want to, in fact, make sure the person you're talking to is either a tax attorney, a CPA, an enrolled agent, or a former IRS agent. Those are the only ones that are going to give you good counsel, good advice, and good informative information. So when you go ahead and give this financial statement, remember IRS wants the full value of your assets. That's under the asset section. And the other important section is to know this one thing. You must understand the National Standards Program, or you're going into a buzzsaw. What's the National Standards Program? When you fill out your expenses that you're having IRS review, IRS is going to only allow you so many expenses, so many dollars. IRS is going to control what you can put for food and clothing, for housing and utilities, what you can spend for operation of your car and ownership. They're not going to allow you what you normally spend. And what IRS wants to do is limit you so they can get more money from you at the end of the day. So if you're considering going ahead and getting an offer and compromise through. If you have a very small case and really at the end of the day you don't have very much, send your offer in the IRS. It's a complicated form, but just try to get in. IRS may help you recorrect it, but if you owe any sizable money, you really want to give this to a tax expert because it does get complicated. IRS has made this really, really difficult, at the end of the day. Couple things about the offer: you can submit as many as you want. Every time you put in an offer, you extend the statute a year. So you want to just make sure you know what you're doing. By the way, don't give your money to anybody unless they've completely reviewed your financial statement and said thumbs up or thumbs down. That's what we do. If we do an offer and compromise here, I must look at that financial statement or I won't take your money because I have to make sure you're qualified for the offer. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments section. Thank you for listening. If you'd subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate it. I love to know what questions you have. I'm happy to answer. You'll find my information in the description section. Thank you very much for listening.